Hey, what's going on, friends? Jason and Mike.
What's up?
What's up, dude? It's been a long time, man. We took a little bit of hiatus.
Well, yeah, you got a little spring break,
kind
of action in there.
Is it okay for adults to say spring break? Does that just sound a little?
I mean,
or is it?
We might be old, but we feel young. So we're partying
and we
spring
have
break
kids,
style.
So technically, it's spring break.
That is true. Okay,
right,
that is true.
I don't want to be the adults that don't have kids that say spring break. It gets a little weird. But
yeah, it would be weird if we went to like a college spring break and just hung out.
Yeah,
on the
we would definitely be the old guys with our great beards. We would definitely want to do that. But glad to be back with you, man, and behind the mics and sitting in a new set a little bit. This is kind of fancy.
It is nice. I was very nervous. Now, what do I do with my feet? Do I move them? Do I cross my? It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, and there's a lot of words to describe us, but like fancy with these white chairs, like fancy is not the word I would use to describe us by any means.
I think fancy is.
Fancy is? Yeah, definitely.
Distinguished, elegant, any of those would work.
I'm glad you think so. So that's a good thing. But guys, we're happy to be back here with the Brandworthy Show. We took a little bit of time off to do business, life, and to do some spring breaks with our families.
Sure.
But we are coming back, and we're coming back hot. We're coming back with Mr. Raghu Sundara of Always Be Connecting.
Raghu in the house, talking about some networking today.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, right?
If someone doesn't know Raghu or Raghu doesn't know you, then you're not needed. You know what I mean? Like, he basically knows almost everybody. Every time I talk to him, there's no one that you can introduce him to that he doesn't already know.
Yeah, I remember when we had him on the first episode, or his first episode. Actually, I think it was first or second one here in Betty D's. I think you said something about 6 degrees separation.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like Kevin Bacon over there.
You know,
just a better looking Kevin Bacon.
But he has earned the right to be known because the man is a hustler.
Absolutely. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Always Be Connecting, but also, like, for those newbies out there, maybe he's got some tips on how do you get your foot in the networking game.
Yeah, definitely on those pieces. And I love this. I love seeing the evolution of him and the collaboration that he's having with other business coaches to really help people thrive and grow in their business is pretty cool. So should we introduce him or should we just keep talking about him?
I mean, it'd be awkward if we just did the whole show without introducing him.
Raghu Sundara, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, as always.
Yeah,
it's great to be here.
It's definitely is, man. We're excited to be able to chat with you. This is a first on Brandworthy or any Love Local show. We have a sponsor that is a part of our show now that I think in order to be a sponsor, you have to meet certain criteria, right? So you have to be.
It's a very distinguished line of criteria that you have.
Yeah, we have a lot of documents about the criteria that the people that are going to be sitting.
The application alone is like this thick.
It's huge. So most people didn't even get through it.
That's true. Yeah. And we're kind of shocked that this one did get through it.
It did, but maybe he doesn't even know what he's in for. Who knows? But as I'm excited, Aaron Bondi of Edward Jones, he's a good dude. He's funny. He's a family man. He is one heck of a financial advisor, and he's a sponsor of our show here on Brandworthy. Welcome, dude.
Thanks. Yep. Glad to be here. Couldn't think of a better person to sit next to on the set here than Raghu, and looking forward to the conversation.
I love the swag too. The hat is killer, by the way.
You're rocking it out, man.
I planned ahead.
So how much did he pay you to wear that thing? That's all I want to know.
If there is, maybe we could put a link at the bottom where they could get some ABC swag.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Is there
like a store? Pop-up store you got?
No, I have some swag in my trunk. If the time's right,
you got to know the guy.
If the coffee meetup goes well.
So hey, everybody,
they're leaning in. They're like, how can I?
You gotta earn the merch.
If you see Raghu cruising in the Giddy Up mobile, you might pull him aside and see if he can pop open that trunk, give you some of that swag. You know what I mean?
Giddy Up mobile. That's the only way I'm gonna look at your car now.
You gotta connect him with somebody he's never met before to get access to the merch.
That's very elusive.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, Giddy Up. I can't even not think about that anymore. Thanks, Mike. Raghu. Glad you're on the show, man. This is the third time actually, because of the Love Local Law 53. Then on our last show here, the first one that was in Betty D's, and then now here. So this is the first third-time guest that we've ever had.
Yeah, there's always a first for a third-time guest.
Yeah,
do
whatever
I get a jacket
means.
or something?
Yeah.
I think it's at 5.
We're working on class rings, and it's at 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Class rings.
Yeah, we're going that route. But Raghu, like Mike said earlier, many people know you, but for those that don't know you, give a little bit overview of what you do.
So I am a business coach who helps people, business owners, salespeople, entrepreneurs, be the live version of LinkedIn. And so I help them build relationships in the community. And I help them build power partnerships, which a lot of people care about who their customers are and who they're targeting prospect-wise. But a lot of people don't think about who are they getting their referrals from. A lot of people buy leads, internet leads, or make the phones ring. They spend money on SEO, search engine optimization. That's air. I'm focusing on the ground. So I'm the SEO of the ground, and I try to help people be found on the ground.
Yeah, I feel like you do that too. I feel like I heard the live version of LinkedIn is also a nickname that you have out there. So now we're gonna add the SEO part into it. But that's true. Like I feel like you're the human side of all of that. You take time to be able to get to know people and to be able to learn them and how you could support them. A question I have for you is, like, where did ABC Always Be Connecting, where did that business idea come from? Where you're like, hey, because you're an insurance agent too,
Mm-hmm.
but as you transition and you to grow ABC, it's an evolution. But where did the idea come from?
So it just came from, I was doing all this networking to get my insurance business out there. It's the name on the door. That's my name. It's my reputation. And to build trust with people that would refer me, they trust their friends, family, and customers with me. I did a lot of that for the last 15, 16 years. And over the last 4 years specifically in the northwest suburbs here, I just fell into it. And as I was meeting with a lot of people, probably met with over 1,000 people over the last 4 years, even through COVID. Even at Topgolf,
That's when we
masked up.
met, right?
I mean,
that's
that's
where we met.
adjusted for COVID numbers, because you would probably be a lot higher. Was it not COVID?
Yeah. So through that, I connected a lot of people. I found out what makes them tick, who their power partners are, what their story is, like where they're from, where did they work before, what are their hobbies, and then just connected people that had common ground, people that were going after the same customers, and kind of fell into it by people telling me, hey, thank you for mentoring me and making me feel like I belong in this circle or that circle, or introducing me to this chamber or that chamber or a new group that has nothing to do with business. And it's really about making people feel like they belong. And so doing that, I mentored these people. They kept telling me, hey, you should be a business coach that focuses on helping people feel the way you make me feel. And I just thought about it more. I did a couple chambers of commerce. I did this Always Be Connecting talk, and that's what it was called. I collaborated with Rich Eisenhuth on one of them at the Schaumburg Business Association.
It's a lot of energy in that.
Yeah. And Rich is awesome. And so he's a showman. And so he helped me, we tag teamed that presentation. And then I did a couple other ones, the same presentation, Always Be Connecting talk, at other groups, like referral groups that asked me, hey, what are my processes? What am I doing to be a giver? What am I doing to be relevant and being more than just an insurance agent to my clients, friends, and family? And so I thought about it. I just wrote down all my processes, and I did that. And then I just thought about why can't I show people what I'm doing so they can be a giver and they can be that person that makes the most friends in their community. Because I saw this quote that this famous realtor, one of the top realtors in Georgia.
Mike Mollerdino?
Yeah, exactly.
When I was back in Georgia.
Not in Georgia. But so he had the statement that says, the agent that makes the most friends in the community wins. And so that's when I saw that, I'm like, that's what I've been trying to do. I've always wanted to be that problem solver or that connector that happens to own an insurance agency. So that's where that was born out of.
I would say it's a big testament to just you personally. I mean, people kind of just saw the way you were doing things organically, and like obviously you have a process in the background, but they saw the fruits of your labor, and they're like, dude, you should coach other people on how to do that. So like, take us through a little bit. What are some of the techniques or strategies that somebody who's brand new and sits down with you, what are some of the beginner things that they should be doing to get out there and network?
Yeah. The first thing is to take a look at their business plan and then take a look at where does marketing and networking fit within that business plan. Do they have a networking plan? And then how much time do they have to dedicate? Because if they don't have the right time and they don't plan for the right time to set aside each week for the planning ahead to go to a networking event, or to identify the right places to even go, or the people that they already have in their network that might actually know of the right places to go, to reach out to them. And then follow-up, planning for follow-up. Most people have, even if they do network, most people go to a networking event and they'll make that first step. Most people don't follow up and have that second meeting with people. So the first meeting is the kicking tires.
Spinning their wheels.
Yeah. It's like we meet, I learn who you are, but I don't really learn why you do it, and I definitely don't know your process because I just know what about it. You only
It's kind of like a first date.
It is
essentially, right? So they're kind of
Pretty
getting to know you a little bit, and then if you kind of ghost them at the end, you're not really seeing where that's going to go.
Totally.
Right? Okay.
That's a
So
good
I get
analogy,
it.
Yeah. The first meeting is usually just finding out. The second meeting, when you meet, that's we're going to get stuff done. We're actually going to work on something. We're going to start collaborating on stuff, and that's where the rubber meets the road, and you actually do stuff, and people will gravitate towards doing and action plans instead of just, hey, all we do is just meet up with this person. And friendships are great, but friendships with collaboration and actually doing stuff together is even better.
Yeah, it definitely is. Your ability to connect people. I feel like people sometimes will be like, hey, I'm not going to go to that networking group because there's other financial advisors there. Have you ever heard that, Aaron, before?
All the time.
Yeah, that type of thing. Or there's other insurance agents there. What would you say to those people, like about with that type of mindset?
So that's a scarcity mindset, and I would say keep an open mind, because that person that you're thinking is stepping on your toes doesn't even know you, and you really don't even know them. That person could be working for your company, or you could be working for them one day. That person doesn't have a 100% closing ratio, and neither do you.
No.
That person doesn't want every single customer. We always talk about that. We talked about that in one of our referral groups last week. Yeah. We don't want every customer. Not every so we can be each other's problem solvers. So going into the group when your competition's there, embrace your competition. Don't trash them. Yeah. And when you embrace and
collaborate, you're saying me standing across the room mean mugging them is not the best strategy?
It is not.
Okay,
believe it or not,
I've already learned something from this show.
Yeah. We're like, why isn't Mike generating a lot of business?
I'm just mean mugging people.
Is he mean mugging people?
Unless that's your standard resting
that's my
face.
My resting mean mugging face. No, I do agree with you, and I think a lot of people would miss out. If you have your competitors and you're talking to them and engaging with them, you have a lot of commonality. You're talking through things. You can learn, you can grow, you can prosper together, and that's the abundant mindset versus scarcity.
Yeah.
I definitely I've agreed with that. At first I didn't really get it when you first started talking about it. Now it's like more the merrier. Like, why not learn what other people are doing and synergies that people have?
I think that's the question you have to ask people too, is what's your specialty? What do you work on? I mean, I work on things that other financial advisors don't like to work on, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so there's certain things that we know we're going to be good at, and there are things that we stay in our lane. That's one of the things.
Yep.
I mean, Raghu and I have known each other for coming up on almost, let's see, I moved back here in 2015, so 8-9 years. So, and that was previous companies, that was a lifetime ago almost. So, but that's always one thing we've said is you stay in your lane. You find the people who excel at what they're good at, and then kind of help them along, and they'll help you.
Exactly.
I do want to go back a little bit. You said like a lot of these business owners, they need to figure out their business plan and understand what time for networking and marketing they have.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree. I think a lot of people work on their product and not necessarily getting the message out.
Mm-hmm.
So say you get someone to that point and they agree to go to a networking event, it can be intimidating. So like, what is your kind of advice, the first timer, first 10 minutes in a room, what should they try to do to break that ice or make themselves feel comfortable?
So I think planning ahead is key. So if somebody invited them to that event, prep, know who's going, find out. Like, so if you invited me to an event, Mike, I would ask you, hey, who's going to be there? And when I get there, where are you going to be in the room? Are you going to be at the front? Are you going to be right side, left side? And when I look for you, is it okay?
And Mike's going to be like, I'll be by the bar.
I'll be mean mugging someone from the corner.
If he's in the bar, that's fine. At least you know where he is. So my thing is Mike, are you okay with when you see me or I text you 5 minutes before I walk in and maybe you can wrap up your conversation? If you could do me a big time favor and just introduce me to a couple people, give me a rolling start. Once I get some momentum, then I'm rolling, and then it'll take over. And that's what the key is. But a lot of people don't prep. They don't prepare for anything, and then they show up to the event. Now they're all flustered because they probably got there late, and they don't even know where to find Mike, who invited them. Yeah. So they just don't feel like they belong. And
that anxiety of that first 10 minutes is
absolutely.
If you just get into a circle by an introduction, then the conversation will roll.
Yeah. I was going to say, you know what, you take a wingman, right? I mean, you talked about first dates, like grab a wingman, get Raghu, get somebody else. And the thing Raghu, I think, does a really nice job of is when you walk into a room with him, he's like, who do you want to meet?
Yeah.
Who do I need to find for you? And you know what? That takes the edge off for you because you could say the same thing back, and then you're not looking for yourself.
For sure.
Yep.
Right? And that's,
it's like
That's
tandem
sure
networking where you're like connecting helping each other connect, right?
Most people really think about, they worry so much about everything that could go bad. They think about, hey, if I get into a conversation, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? Or what am I going to be able to just talk about when they do ask me? Put it on them first. It buys you time. If you're there to talk about something, ask about that subject when it comes to them, and based on how they answer that, at least gives you some time.
Yep.
And they give you a template of how long you should go on your answer too. And so they should be willing to flip it right back, and you're ready to go. Now you're still listening. You got to be genuinely listening to them when you ask them those
active
questions.
listening is critical at these events.
Because if you don't actively listen, you can't ask the follow-up questions that show clear acknowledgement, and you're not going to be genuine. And if you don't come off as genuine, you're going to come off as just transactional and just as what we sometimes call takers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my favorite is you talk to somebody and like they're not listening to anything they say, and they're like, "Oh, I sell this. You should call me," and they just hand you a card and walk away. It's just like it's not genuine. I don't want to do business with someone like that. I'd rather have an organic connection and then go to that next step. So I do like your first date, second date kind of first meeting, second date.
Yeah, I like that too. And you said something there that really triggered a thought process for me, and was the transactional type piece. And before all of this, was just in real estate before building Love Local Media, and during that process, I was generating leads online, and I had a really good machine going. I did really well in real estate because of it, but the relationships in the beginning were very transactional, and with many people just period were transactional because there was no like human connection. So to me, what you bring to the table is like you're going to help meet people, but you're going to do it in a relationship base, which is, to me, it's more sustainable. And when you're looking as a business operator, you want to grow your book of business, right? You want to have that book of business and have it continue to go. Well, if it's transactional, I'm willing to bet those people aren't coming back, or a smaller percentage are, but if they're relationship based, they are coming back, and now you're going to talk about each other's kids and your lives and whatever else is going on that you have that connections with. So I feel like I learned a lot of that from you, like coming in from COVID. I met you at middle 3-4 months into COVID, and I was like, oh man, this guy is like, first I'm like, is he full of it? And then, did you think the same thing, Aaron? Like,
there was one time.
Well, maybe not the same.
There was one time during COVID. We remember the bank meeting in the bank basement.
Yes.
We were all like 12
now
feet.
I remember.
There's like 5 of us around a table, like 12 feet apart. And then like the next day, we had somebody had an exposure.
yeah.
And we were all just like hunkered. We were all hunkered. It was like in the beginning.
Thank goodness we
But
are
we were
past
still
that time.
networking.
Yeah.
Like we were
Yeah.
just like speakeasy style, like going against the rules.
And still
I'll meet you in an
We were
alley
messed
behind
up.
the liquor
building
store.
in a
those and building those relationships, right? I feel like some of the best relationships that I've gotten over the last 5 years have come from COVID time, and like when you should be separated or you were separated, you're like, hey, can we be friends? Type thing. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. There's you talked earlier, you talked about collaboration and working with people that do the same thing as you or different but similar. You're doing a lot of that within your business to be able to bring more value through collaboration. Can you talk a little bit about what you have going on?
Yeah. So I collaborate with other business coaches because they focus on things that I might not focus on, and even common ground. So Dr. Michelle Morkert, she's a women's leadership coach. Her and I are actually collaborating on rolling out a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy for a local association. And so she's very well versed in that realm. I have some experience in it, but she's the one that with the data to back it up. But what happened was last year somebody that I know who is on the board of that association came to me and said, hey, do you know anybody in this DEI space? And the first person I thought of was Dr. Michelle Morkert. And so I brought her in, and then she said, why don't we just collaborate and we can do this together and roll out the conversations, run the discussions. And we actually had a meeting this morning with that association, it's so much fun. We're in uncharted waters, but we're just sitting here and building a template and a blueprint for other places that we're able to go. And then it just actually expanded other types of offerings that we can make. Mm-hmm. So we were also going to be doing group coaching, Dr. Michelle and I, because she's going to talk about leadership, and I'm going to talk about networking and connecting. Because they do go hand in hand.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand. And then I never really thought about that until I talked to her about it, about what she did. And I know her process because I've gone through her coaching, and she's gone through my coaching. So we understand why when I talk to Aaron, and I'm telling Aaron about, this group coaching, and he's like, well, what am I gonna get from it? He's asking me what is he gonna get on the leadership side. I know because I've gone through her leadership coaching. Mm-hmm. So we're really we're actually stronger together. You always talk about things like that and that philosophy, but really I feel like I can get more value for more people. I can provide more value for more people by collaborating with people like Dr. Michelle.
Yeah, she's an awesome person too. I think good heart and just her depth of knowledge. I feel like just from knowing you both, you bring so much different skills, similar hearts but different skills, right? Which creates even more value for the people that you're being able to work with and for as you continue to evolve for that. The group coaching, I would love to know a little bit more about that. So what does that look like? I know you guys are still building it, so I hope I'm not just putting you on the spot, but what does that look like if somebody's out there right now and they're like, hey man, I like this Raghu guy, and I want to learn more from him, and maybe that's something that could be there.
Yeah, so it's group coaching. It's a maximum of 10 people, 10 entrepreneurs, business owners that want to jump on a weekly call. It's a Zoom call. 1 week it will be Dr. Michelle. The other week we just go alternate. The
nice.
Minimum commitment is 3 months because we want to make sure that people are invested and they actually
sense.
put
And
what
it's an evolution. Like, you can't just
Yeah.
get it for 1 hour and be like,
Exactly.
oh, I got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Plus, I think group. Do you find that like people in the group is a little more, a little less intimidating, and people are able to participate and. Right? I mean,
that's one of the
one-on-one
benefits, yeah.
Yeah, one-on-one coaching would be like, all right, you're just focusing on me, and I have to it's too much spotlight on me. I think group would be better.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is like you said, it's number one, it's intimidating just being one-on-one. The other thing is a lot of people get, we get writer's block. Mm-hmm. People talk about writer's block, but people think about when I talk to them with individual coaching, they're like, I don't know what else you could help me with. But if they hear somebody else on a group call saying, oh, I need help with this, they're like, well, I need help with that too. I need help with this. It sparks an extra thought in their head to get past that writer's block, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then they think about all the other things that they need help with. And like 80% of the things that I talk about, that I coach on, is mindset anyway. And so when you have other people in the room that might share the same struggles as you, or maybe you can benefit from hearing what they're really good at and their processes, you might be able to incorporate some of those processes in there, because they're there to grow their business. That's the one commonality. They're there to grow their business. They care about leadership and they care about networking.
Yeah.
And so that's the one common ground you have. And it's only 10 people, so it's going to be a more intimate setting. And we can even tailor it towards
10
industries.
or less, you can't hide either.
Well,
it's like if you get 20, 30 people, you could just be a bump
exactly.
on the wall.
The hidden element of it is deepening of relationships.
Yep.
That's it.
Right. So you get somebody who, not only are they learning about your business, because that's what you're out there trying to promote as part of it, but they get how you're working on your business. And when you can kind of share that detail with somebody that you're trying to, not only do I know what he's doing, but this is how he's learning and bettering himself. These are the things that they're doing to bring better value to you. That
goes a long way.
That's what
Yeah, and accountability. So if you just write down a goal, it's a certain percentage that you're actually going to do it. If you tell somebody and they know your goal, that's
you
even
don't
more.
want to suck in front of that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you definitely don't want to suck in front of 10 people.
Yeah.
The same
If
10
you tell
people.
10 people you're going to do something,
Yeah.
either you have to ghost them and never see them again,
Yeah.
or you have to follow through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like
They're going to
that.
ask you about it, and you're going to be like, you're going to hear it 10 times, and you're going to be like, oh, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that. So it holds you accountable.
Yeah, accountability goes a long way. I think we all have something to work on. We all have areas of strengths and areas of opportunity. So to be able to work with people and grow together, but at the same time individually, I think is something pretty powerful. So I'm excited for that side of your business and collaboration with Dr. Michelle, which we think very highly of here as well. We actually recently had her on the Love Local Chicagoland podcast. It's good people. We wish you the best of luck as you guys continue to do that collab and to bring people value. If I had... we're getting ready to wind down here throughout the show. I know you've talked about a lot of tips and a lot of things throughout the show that gives great value to people listening. But if you had to give one tip to somebody that it will help them grow their business, what would that one tip be?
Be consistent about your networking. Don't join a group or a club and be that person that's not an active member. Don't get the sticker. Don't join a chamber or a club just for the sticker on your door.
Yeah.
Or to put
Like,
it on
hey,
your
I
car.
joined.
Yeah.
That's the battle.
Well, you could
After
join
that.
anything.
Yeah.
What do you actually do? It's people gravitate towards doers. If you pick up the phone and you call somebody, you want them, when they see your name, you want them to say, oh man, Jason's calling me, instead of, oh, Jason's calling me. Well, because
When I called you earlier,
I
what
mean,
was
yeah.
it? Was it like, oh damn it?
No, I know you're calling for something good. But yeah, I mean, so be active, be consistent, and lay out a plan. That's the one thing, is be consistent about it. Because, you could be consistent showing up one time a month, and then they see what your cadence is. Somebody told me about. That's somebody's word.
my favorite
He likes
word.
That's his favorite word. So I had to work that in. I told him
all about
I was going to work it in.
cadence.
Cadence. It's all about cadence.
I did hear you guys before you got on. There was like 3 buzzwords that you had to say, like a little Easter egg nuggets that you wanted out there. All right, so if somebody, everyone agrees networking is important, right? If you were going to give someone advice for a brand new networker, what type of event is the easiest one to get into, like right away?
I think the one that goes within their personality. It's
Okay.
got to be within their personality.
It's a very political answer. I like it.
It is. I mean, I
was going to say anything with drinks, but that's my personality apparently.
If somebody's a big introvert and they don't like big crowds, don't go to an event with 600 people.
Yeah.
There was a
okay.
local one in Schaumburg. It was a great event.
Yeah.
We all love it. We all know what we're talking about. You know which one I'm talking about. But don't go to an event like that as your first event.
Yeah, that's intimidating. Okay.
Yeah,
Unless
that's a
you-
lot. You talk about Savora at
Yeah,
SBA.
and that's a great
yeah,
event.
no, it's an amazing event and a lot of great local places to eat, and you see tons of great people. But yeah, if you're
But by the end of
it's
the
your
night,
first,
you don't
want to
remember who
go
you're
back.
talking to.
Yeah,
No,
no,
but if you're an
it's-
extrovert,
Yeah.
oh, you're
go to
you're
that
in heaven.
event. Yeah, and
no.
there's a lot of extroverts. So, but even if you're going to go to an event like that, but research what event you're trying to go to, and find out what it is. It's got to fit within your personality. And if you know you're going to go to that as your first event, try to be comfortable about it. Like, go with 2 or 3 other people and walk around. So then you're in a comfort zone.
Because otherwise
So
you
that's the
get
other
lost in that mass amount of people, and you kind of just standing there awkwardly, and then you get anxious.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, for me personally, going to like a lunch or a breakfast where you're sitting down somewhere is not as enjoyable because I'm locked into where I sit. And so, like, I like something where I can, it's probably my ADD, but like
Yeah.
I can move around and talk to many people.
So
like,
you know
something
that
where
about
you're moving
yourself.
around.
So
Yeah.
you got to really think about what would be suitable before you even go there, because once you sign up for that event, and you're there. You're stuck there sometimes for 1 or 2 hours, and if that doesn't fit within your personality, sometimes, first impressions are great when you meet people, but they're also first impressions for yourself of whatever activity you're doing. That event might be rubbing you might be assuming something wrong about that whole organization.
for sure.
It's fair. It's very fair. If people were looking for, if they don't trust us that networking is important, and they're looking for a good book or a podcast or, something that they can get a little more networking, juju going, what is something that you recommend?
So there's
Networking juju. Is that the first time you
Juju.
heard that?
If you guys if you use it, I want $1 for every time someone uses it.
I won't
Networking
use it
juju.
then. So there's 2 books now that I like. One Jason recommended last year, and then the other one that I found on my own I always recommend.
So I'm guessing that Jason wants a picture book.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
Once-
like just waiting
An
for
easy
that.
read.
the first one's the first one that I really go to is called the Go Giver book. It's called the Go Giver, and by Bob Berg, and that's a book that I have in my trunk. I give it to people that really want to learn more about how do you be more than just your occupation to people, right? And be a problem solver, provide more in value than you collect in payment. And then the other book is Give and Take by Adam Grant. That's an awesome book. There's just so many different principles in that book that are great about givers, matchers, and takers. And really, that book, what I take from it is the top 5% of producers in any company are generally givers, but then the bottom 5% of producers are givers as well, because you have to be the right type of giver. There's different mindsets that you have to take
Yeah.
when you take that approach. And so it's just a great book. I like it. It's helped me, and I've seen people, when I read the book, I see people in networking and in personal and professional worlds that, man, I'm like, that person is exactly what this principle is. And, a lot of times it's a great example of that. So it gets you to define, and once you define things and you see that, you can actually do it more. And it's anytime you're consistent and have a process about something, you'll be able to, you could be a lot more, you'll get consistent results in what you're trying to accomplish.
Which is the goal, right? Yeah. It's Adam Grant. I love him in general, but yeah, Give and Take is definitely a great book with a lot of great insights. So thanks for sharing. If somebody wants to learn about you, wants to get connected with you, that they're not already, there's 10 people that are out there that don't know you, they want to get to know you, how do they do that?
So a couple different ways. You can call me. My cell phone number is 847-302-0690. You can email me at Raghu, so it's RAGHU, at alwaysbeconnecting.net. And then my website is alwaysbeconnecting.net.
Cool. And what is a networking event? The last question of the show. What's the next networking event that you're looking forward to the most?
The next one is Village Networking. Not just because we're the founders of it.
Yeah,
it's just a great networking
That was kind of like an alley oop. I just threw
Yeah,
it
but
up to you.
but Village Network has been going strong for months.
For you,
And
over
it's
a
been
year
rotating
now. Yeah.
Yep.
people,
Over a
so
year.
it's not always the same people coming in.
Yep.
And it's pretty full.
Yeah.
It's like you're selling out every month.
Yeah.
You outgrew
it's
your
great.
room.
We did. We had 80
Yeah.
people last month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was great.
80,
And so
80 people is pretty remarkable, being able to go around and get to see everybody in the space that we're in here at Bellworks is pretty beautiful and really awesome to be a part of. But it's evolved so much, and it's a lot, and this is because of you. I really give a testament to you and Steve on building that culture that is within what we're doing. But it's bringing people together. And you talked about belonging earlier, and that's the vibe that's there. We want to help people belong and also like help them thrive and grow in their business. Like it feels good when we all do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
should I say the date?
Yeah,
and
sure.
place?
Why not? Yeah, I just
So
interrupted
it's,
you.
it's
Should I say
May
the
10th.
date? Is it
It's
okay?
May 10th
Yeah.
at noon,
Mhm.
and it's at Poplar Creek Bowl in Hoffman Estates.
Awesome.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So Amy Weil and
I was about to say, we know somebody who's newly running it over there.
yeah,
so-
Amy Weil, and then Diane Marinelli. She is the GM. Both of them, they always do a great job taking care of.
I love that
Village
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great spot.
and
It's
beyond.
definitely a great
Yeah,
spot. Good,
for sure.
really good food, and just it's not only good for networking, but good for family stuff too. And or want to go out and hang out with the boys. I'm sure you can have some drinks there too.
Definitely.
and have a
I
good
do want to
time.
plug two other
Oh,
places.
okay, keep going.
Yeah.
Shut
So
up.
they're a Greater O'Hare Association, so GOA. That's a local chamber in the northwest suburbs,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the Schaumburg Business Association. Those are two chambers that all of us have
Yeah.
been around, and
That's why we
without
know
those
each
two
other,
chambers,
yeah.
we wouldn't even know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, if I was anybody watching, I would go to any events that those two chambers have. That's just awesome. I just went to another one last night, and they have multiple events every week. So those are
Just
two
check out
great
their
chambers.
websites, right? It's I agree. Great organizations doing great things and great way to connect with people in the community,
Definitely.
to build relationships. So.
Raghu, I want to thank you. You said earlier today that the one who gets the most friends in the community wins, and I would say you're living that through connecting people in our community to other people. I feel you're doing that selflessly. You're doing that to help others grow in that growth mindset. And so I really appreciate what Always Be Connecting stands for and what they're doing. So if anyone needs to check it out, I highly encourage them to do so.
Yeah, I stand behind that. And Aaron Bondi, thanks for being a sponsor, man. Thanks for being a part of the show. We look forward to the evolution of this.
Thank you guys. Thanks for all being friends.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a sponsor.
For sure.
Yes, it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I didn't tell him if it was your name, he'd have been like, well, maybe not. But we were surprised.
We had to trick him into coming. No.
Bait and switch.
Yeah, super appreciative, man.
Brought
and,
my own hat.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's a pretty good hat.
Oh, yeah. No, that's right.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. Thanks for the great conversation, Mike. I think we could peace out now and go enjoy the rest of our day.
Yeah, I think we should head over to Church Street and have a little brew.
I think that's a good idea. My friends, love local media and love local real estate partners tagging up to be able to get to know people and give value to people throughout the community in different ways. We look forward to being able to connect you to businesses and connectors like him as we continue to evolve. Peace out, my friends. Appreciate you.
Always be connecting.
Boom.